Well, hello, hello. Welcome to Frecovery Friday, a weekly episode every Friday at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. I'm joined here by my partner in crime, my partner in love. Many of you might know my wife, Alicia. Hey, honey, thanks for joining me. We are so excited to be here. We wanted to talk a little bit today about why we have started this weekly program with really one mission, and that is how do we address addiction in the world and how do we do it more effectively? We're going to be talking to all kinds of people, and so interviews will be a big part of this program every single week. And I want you to just think about who are the people in your life that you know that are innovators, that are thinking differently about addiction and maybe implementing that in their own special way. And I want to just do a quick shout out. Hi, Mindy. Hi, Jen. Hey, David. Thanks for joining us. I'm so glad you're with us today. But honey, when you think about why we put this program together, and it's something we've been talking about for, gosh, several months, right?
Yeah.
What do you have in mind as part of the mission here? I know we talk about we want to address addiction differently, and you and I have such different experiences and backgrounds with addiction, and certainly different perspectives on, you know, what do we see out there in the world. So what do you see? Like what is a big part of what you think this program is going to end up being?
I think that bringing this awareness and this new thought to what recovery is, and really I love Frecovery Friday because addiction gets to be without the stigma, and recovery gets to be with fulfillment and happiness and freedom. And bringing all of these pieces together that we've thought of really allows people to go, oh my gosh, I can get through this, and wow, look what I did, and really make a difference for everybody.
Well, so that's absolutely right. And as I think about, we even have some people watching right now that I would consider innovators in their own way. And by the way, some of the people that we'll be having as guests aren't necessarily going to be in recovery or even in the addiction recovery industry. In fact, we feel like if we can bring thought leaders and innovators and disruptors from outside of the industry to maybe provide insight inside the industry, I think there's a lot of value to that. I think sometimes we bring our thinking together from within, and sometimes you need that outside perspective. And what comes to mind is like Apple. If you think about the one company that's probably changed the music industry more than anyone else in the last 50 years, it's Apple Computers, a computer company. So sometimes bringing that fresh perspective, I think, is going to be helpful. So one of the things, if you're watching this video, that we want you to do, if you know someone that is a disruptor, that's doing something amazing in the addiction recovery space, someone who's thinking differently and is an innovator, please comment and share their name. We'd love to interview them. If you are that person, we want to know about you, and we'll schedule you in as part of this program. So, dear, we've been in this industry for quite a while now, right? We've seen a lot of things. Like when you think about some of those different arenas where we want to focus on, who are some of the people that you want to showcase here? Because I have my own ideas, but we're kind of that yin and yang. So who are you thinking about? As far as like profession or mindset or those type of things.
I think that as we've been talking, we'd love to talk to people that are even HR professionals, clinicians who are really thought leaders, but thoughtful leaders in the way recovery is going and the way the new innovations we can use to help people struggling with innovation, even disruptors and the tech world. Let's all come together, all these really big industries that we have to work from, and really, again, take the stigma away and use everything we can to find a new way to help people struggling, because they're good people. This isn't a moral issue.
So a couple of things stood out. You used a term that I love. We hear the term thought leader all the time. but you use this term thoughtful leader, and I love that. I think, you know, we're in a time now where empathy matters and compassion and connection is key. And so we're not just looking for people to hack the system as much as we are people who are thoughtful and mindful about approaching this with fresh eyes, right?
Oh my gosh.
And you know, another piece that you talked about, which I think is an underserved area, which we're doing a lot in, is in the corporate space. You know, all too many times when we think about the problems with addiction and overdose, we're thinking about the homeless or the indigent or those who can't hold a job. But 77% of all the people who struggle in America with an addiction, they actually have a job. And so I think bringing in some of the HR professionals that see this on a ground level in that world, it's a place where it's not talked about. And so we're going to be bringing on, I think, a lot of those, you know, there's a couple of people that come to mind certainly in that space that I'm excited to get to know a little bit better and understand what they're thinking about when it comes to addiction in the workplace. You know, one that I don't think you did mention, but I think is important, is there is a lot of controversy around this treatment with you know, using MAT, and medical assisted treatment is something that is, I think, is very polarizing. And so we want to hear your thoughts about MAT. Is it something that's good? Is it something that's bad? Is it effective? Is it not effective? And we're not pros at that. I mean, we're the first ones to say we have no clue which way that should go. But we're going to want to hear from those medical professionals, you know, addictionologists, psychiatrists, people who are licensed but are also looking at this again from a fresh perspective. So if you know someone who you think would be a valuable asset to be on this show, again, we're going to be broadcasting every single Friday at 9 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. We're going to be bringing on some amazing guests. What? 9. What did I say? Oh, I said 9. So we'd like to, let's look at a couple of comments. Let's see what people are saying here. Hey, Justin. Hey, Brian. Thanks for joining us. Man, we've got some great people on with us. Jen, how's everything in Florida? You're probably enjoying some great weather there, and probably some tamales too. Inside joke for anyone who knows Jen Jones. Mindy, hello again. Danny. So I've got to just give a big shout out to Danny. If you don't know Danny Coella, he has been my coach when it comes to Facebook Live and understanding. And we're certainly not experts at this. We're just kind of getting our feet wet. But Danny, thank you for the guidance and everything that you have been able to show us. You've been an inspiration for us to get this kicked off and to really, you know, provide, I think, a voice in an arena that just isn't being talked about enough. You know, we have so many people out there with amazing stories, and they're inspirational and they're heart-wrenching. I think one piece that we're missing, though, is this piece around innovation and how to really enjoy and have a freedom that really sets us free to thrive in life. You know, there's this, I think, this idea that recovery is supposed to be a struggle and it's supposed to be a grind, and certainly there are days it feels like that. I mean, you don't have to be in recovery to feel that, right?
I life, and that's one of the things I'm excited to bring to this, is that sometimes when it comes to recovery, we put boxes around our feelings and how it should look. And if we can remember that everybody has good days and bad days, it doesn't matter if you're in recovery or not. And I'm going to go back to what you were saying about even medical assisted treatment. I know we want to hear from both sides. Let's hear all the different understandings of it so that we can really find that middle where everybody's working together and more people are hearing.
Yeah, and if we can find that place where we can expand the conversation and move things forward and tinker with different ideas, you know, who knows where this is going to go? Who knows where this, you know, with all these great minds, and we have a lot of great minds joining us today. Thank you so much. if you find value in this, if you're seeing that this is something that could start a new movement around innovation in the addiction recovery space, I want you to please comment and please click that share button. Share this with your community. Share this with the people that you think will be impacted the most. We want to bring all these smarty farty pants in the world together and really create this mastermind around how do we address addiction in such a way that we no longer have the hundreds of overdoses every single day. It is, being in the space that we are, we get calls. I remember being on a call even last night, talking to a mother who lost one son and nearly lost another son to addiction, to heroin overdose. And it's heart-wrenching. And people just want to help. And yet most of the time we don't know where to turn. We don't know what to do. Our hope is that this can start a movement and a community of thoughtful, committed citizens to really bring forward a new age into the addiction recovery space. What do you think about that? Let's look at a couple of comments here. Let's see here. Kevin, I think you are kicking this off with more comprehensive and fresher direction. Can't wait to see more. Kevin, you absolutely need to be a guest on this show. We love the way that you think about ethics and marketing, and you bring such a fresh perspective. So thanks for joining us. I can't wait to talk to you some more. Brian, talking about struggling as an entrepreneur and business owner, being your own boss. Isn't it true that a lot of people would say that stress is such a driver for people when it comes to relapse? So maybe one of the things that we'll be able to talk about is what creates that stress? Is it our circumstances? Probably not. So maybe we'll get some people on. So that who knows where this can go? We need your help in your direction. So the more comments, the more shares, the more people that we can bring into this and create a collective, I think the more impact that we'll be able to have in finding those new answers to a crisis. When you think about the 23 million people in the United States that are struggling with addiction, only 10% of those are seeking or getting treatment. It is devastating, and we've got to come up with some new answers. We need to create that Uber or that Netflix. And I'm not suggesting that from a technology standpoint. I'm just talking from something new. It's no longer okay to just paint the taxi a different color and say that we've got a new system. That is just not going to pull it off, folks. We have to come up with a brand new way of thinking about addiction and approaching it with communities. That means bringing in those experts from sober living. That means bringing in people from making policies. I mean, we're tackling a big issue here, and I think you all know that. So, honey, as we kind of wrap up today, we know that when we have guests, most of these episodes are gonna be right around 20 minutes. Today won't be nearly as long because it's just the two of us yapping. But honey, what more would you like to share and maybe get out there as we kind of wrap up and close things today about why we're doing this? Maybe talk a little bit about that. Why, what do you think has drawn us to be a bigger part of this and to really provide a platform and a voice for others? What would you say to that?
I'm excited to do this for that reason, because in our experience having been in this field, we get so many phone calls and have so many conversations where people are so afraid of what other people are going to think. Their families are so overwhelmed and feel so vulnerable. And it's time that we do something like this so people go, oh my gosh, I'm not bad. I don't have to be ashamed. I'm not the only one struggling. And I love what you keep saying, that we don't know where this is going, because it allows this to just evolve and be fresh and be fun. I mean, this can also be fun, and we're going to have a good time and have lots of amazing guests.
Yeah, so thank you. Can I just say this? I want to say this in closing. So you've mostly seen my face when it comes to these type of broadcasts, and I've become a little bit of a social media hound over the last 6-7 months. But I got to tell you, it feels way better to have you, honey, seriously, what we've been this duo now for nearly 11 years. We have gone through our own ups and downs. We have seen a lot. We have this amazing family. We get to do what we love, and in closing, I just want to share, man, you know, that Wonder Twins Activate kind of thing goes on. I just love it. Thank you so much for stepping in with me on this. If you only knew what a big deal this is for her to join me in these conversations. With that, please, if you see someone that could use a little bit of inspiration, or someone that you feel can really add value to this type of a program, please share this, comment, send this over to those innovators, the people that are making a difference. And until next time, please stay connected.